Hello there. Would you mind introducing yourself?
Hi there, my name is Ryan Olis, and I am deafblind.
Hello, Ryan. I'm just going to ask you a few questions today. Tell us about your experiences using deaf-blind services.
I would say that in Vancouver, BC, there aren't really services for deafblind people. Not really any services at all. It just appears that the government doesn't recognize deafblind people. And some deafblind people experience isolation. Others do have some vision and can access some things out in the community and doing various activities. But we finally do have some services that have been created for deafblind, but it's very limited. It's important to note that it's very limited services that are provided. And it's beneficial for the deafblind community to have access to these services so they can be more independent. They can go out into the community and do various activities and the things that they want to do, and just in general to become more successful and avoiding the isolation. You know, when people are isolated, it affects your mental health as well. So it is beneficial to have those services and supports for deafblind people. And it is also a benefit to the community to be out in general in the community. A lot of people don't know much about deafblindness, and so what happens to people when they start to lose their hearing and their vision, they don't have any support and nowhere to go. So being able to provide those services for the deafblind it means that they are able to have the support that they need instead of being left to their own devices.
Thank you for that. What was it like before these services were in place?
Okay, so, well, there are times when I have to depend on my parents for support, as well as family and friends. They do provide support as well. Because, for example, out in traffic, outside traveling, it can be a challenge. It's hard to see on the street, to see signage. And so it is good now that there is technology like GPS, for example. And still, of course, technology is not perfect. It doesn't come without its flaws. But there are still barriers that we face in the system every day. You know, for example, if I'm going to the grocery store and I'm looking around, and if there's something that I need and I'm trying to ask a staff member a question, you know, we write back and forth, we can communicate through the phone, and then they can show me where the item is that I'm looking for. So it is important that I know where things are in the store, and then I'll be able to go to that area and find what it is that I'm looking for. But for example, if they move everything around in the store, then it is a little disorienting and I'm not quite sure where the item might be. And another example is, you know, if I'm going grocery shopping, it is hard to read the small print that's on the labels. And so, you know, one time somebody had shown up at my place and they said, "Did you know that you have this item here? This is expired." And I had no idea. So, you know, trying to look over the labels on my food, I didn't have access to that information. Without an intervener, that wasn't easily accessible for me. So with an intervener, with their support, then when I'm looking at these items, they are able to tell me those details on the labels, and it essentially breaks down those barriers, so that if I'm buying food, I know what the expiry date is, and I can keep that in mind. You know, so friends and family can let me know of those things as well, but I am able to avoid eating expired food with support. You know, that's just an example of some of the challenges that deafblind people face with reading small print.
Yes, absolutely. What do you use these services for?
So I use intervener services for grocery shopping, or for help with any kind of documentation that has small print, like taxes, for example. I also use their support with some apps that I use. Some of them I do have an issue with the app, and the intervener can provide support for that. They do also provide access to communication. I'm fine to use VRS, but if I do have an issue with an app that I'm using, some of the apps aren't fully accessible. So with the support of the intervener, I'm able to navigate them more easily, and with their support. We work as a team. We work in tandem together. Similar to VRS, there is somebody there that would contact the operator, and then they would go through the details and the process of the communication in general. Similarly to the intervener, they're there to support me in the communication and support that I need. So if I'm going grocery shopping, or if I'm going out and there's no intervener and I'm just going along, I may not have any idea that people are trying to talk to me. I have no idea that anyone's trying to get my attention. I may not notice people around me. My vision is very limited, and so it is possible that I don't know somebody's talking to me, and then they in turn assume that I'm ignoring them, but in reality I just didn't know they were there. So with an intervener, or interpreter, with the mask now, it's an increased challenge to communicate with people because I can't see if they're talking or not. So it is helpful if people sign, or they use their phone, or write back and forth. That's really the only way for clear communication, unless, of course, the intervener is there, and then I have full access to my environment, all the information around me, and what's happening. So if somebody does talk to me, then I'm able to communicate with them through the intervener. They can let me know what's happening, and then I'll know that somebody's saying something to me, and then I can respond, you know, whether it's thank you, or I have something that I want to say to them. So without them there, I wouldn't know. If they have any questions, the intervener is able to let me know that. Without them, I might not have any idea that they're there.
How often do you use the services?
I use intervener services maybe once a month. The reason being is just the hours are very limited. Maybe once a month, 3 or 4 hours a month, that's about all. It's very limited. Yeah, just a few hours every month.
Thank you for that. Okay, my last question. How has having these services changed your life?
Well, one of the benefits would be not having to depend on family and friends, and also to be able to have more access to environmental information. And also to be able to remove the responsibility from them, from friends and family, and to not have to be concerned about the impact or influence on the relationship. because they don't want to be my worker. I value the relationship we have as family and friends. So to have that role be separate and then the intervener is there as support, that's a great benefit to these services, to having these services. And also on the topic of technology, like I said, it's not without its flaws. And, for example, if batteries run out, or just the cost of having to pay for the technology, that could be a challenge. So with the intervener there, that is a benefit, having them there to provide that support. If I need any help reading small print or support with guiding, if I go out somewhere, to an event, for example, and I'm going out at night and someone's going with me, it is hard for me to see where I'm going. So if something had happened around me, it would be helpful to have someone there to support and guide me. So I know all the information about what's happening around me and can be able to find out where it is that we're going.
Well, that's wonderful. Thank you so much, Ryan, for sharing all that information with us today and spreading awareness for Deafblind Awareness Month. Thank you.